Hey Killets, this is Grandma again. This is the bear, the piano player. Is that right? The bear, the piano, the piano, and the dog and the fiddle. I've read this one to you before actually. Hector and Hugo were best friends. Hector was a fiddle player and Hugo was one of his biggest fans. Over the years they'd had good times, bad times and even some crazy times. But now times weren't so great. What are we going to do, Hugo? Hector said as they walked home. My act is yesterday's news. Who'd want to listen to an old fiddler like me when they can watch a world-famous piano-playing bear? I'd like to see that. Hugo woofed to say he would, but Hector just sighed. I'm too old for this game, boy, he said. I guess I'll never get to play at the big concert hall like I dreamed. And with that, Hector packed away his fiddle forever. Now that Hector didn't go out to play his fiddle, he spent most of his time watching TV. You're listening to music, sleeping, and sleeping some more. Hector and Hugo's neighbourhood was noisy, so Hector kept the windows shut when he slept. But one night he forgot. In the early hours of the morning, a strange noise woke him. Hector crept out of bed, tiptoed up the corridor, and pushed open the door to the roof. Hugo was playing Hector's fiddle, and the music Hugo was making was toe-tappingly, finger-clickingly, whistle-blowingly awesome. Hector's tummy hurt a bit when he saw everyone in the neighbourhood nodding along, but when he saw something else, how much his friend loved to play. The next morning, Hector taught Hugo all the tricks of the trade he'd learnt over the years. Before long, a crowd had gathered to hear the toe-tapping tunes. News of the incredible fiddle-playing dog spread, and one day a very famous bear came to watch. Bear told Hugo he was starting a band full of musical animals. He invited him to come on tour and play his fiddle to hundreds of thousands of people. As Hugo looked up at Hector, his tail wagging, Hector's tummy started to hurt again. I guess you should go, he said, trying to smile. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. Hugo's tail wagged even more as he packed to go away with Bear's big band, making sure the fiddle was safely stowed away. But Hector began to have second thoughts. Don't go and join that silly group, Hugo, he said. We don't need them. Hugo put his head on Hector's knee, but Hector pushed him away. Fine, said Hector. I'm sure you'll be back with your tail between your legs. You're not even that good. Hugo picked up his suitcase and left. Suddenly, Hector felt awful. Wait, Hugo, he cried. I'm sorry. But it was too late. The bus was leaving. With Bear's big band, Hugo toured the world, played spectacular shows to sold-out crowds of adoring fans. Hugo was the star of the show, with Bear on the platform, Big G on drums, and Clint the Wolfman Jones grooving on the double bass. Millions of people watched them all over the world on their televisions and computer screens. Millions of people, including Hector. As he watched, Hector missed making music. He missed playing his fiddle. But most of all, he missed his friend. Months passed until one day when Hector saw some posters saying that Bear's big band were playing at the big concert hall in their city. Hector wanted to go, but then he remembered the horrible things he'd said. What if Hugo didn't want him there? Hector bought a ticket anyway and found a spot at the front right by the stage. He noticed that Hugo had a new fiddle and wondered what had happened to his old one, but then the band started playing. Hector couldn't believe how mind-blowingly, toe-tappingly, finger-clickingly awesome the music was. Hugo, he shouted, it's me, Hector, you're brilliant, I'm so proud of you. But Hugo just whispered something to the bear, who whispered something to a security guard. Then they carried on playing. A few minutes later, he felt two big paws grab him. What's going on? He asked nervously. The security guards picked up Hector and took him into a dark corridor. It's okay, Hector said. I was going to leave anyway. Let me go. But the guards just kept walking with Hector squished between them until suddenly they stopped and Hector realised just where he was. Ladies and gentlemen, boomed a voice, I'm pleased to announce that tonight's Bear's Big Band will be joined by a very special guest. Please give a big welcome to Hector. I'm told that our star Hugo wouldn't be here without him. As the crowd cheered, Hugo passed Hector his old fiddle, which he'd kept safe for all this time. He woofed and wagged his tail. And as Hector took the fiddle, he realised that though he and Hugo might have good times, bad times, and even times apart, they would always be friends. Because good friendship, just like good music, lasts a lifetime. The end. There they are, together. Lovely book.